Good morning. Good morning. How are you?
Hey, I'm good. How are you?
I'm good.
Oops. Hold on a second.
Sorry, my audio was a little low.
Can you hear me okay?
Yes.
Okay, because you're really low, but I have my volume up. I know it's not, as long as you can hear me, but you're really low and my volume's on.
How about now?
Let me just check that.
Can you hear
Anyway,
now?
good morning. How are things?
Things are good. How about you? I think you can't hear me. Can you hear me now?
Hold on a minute. Hold on. Let me just check to make sure that my I don't think it's on, but my Spotify on this phone is not on. Just hold on, because you're really low, really, really low. But I know that. Let me see. Try it again.
Can you hear me now?
Okay, yeah, that's good. Perfect.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah, I'm good. Thank you.
Did you have a nice weekend? 3-day weekend?
I chose, I'm a flight attendant. I think I mentioned that more than once, but I had the holiday off. No plans though. Had the holiday off, and Sunday off. And then a friend of mine who doesn't fly the same kind of trips I like long days, and she doesn't have the same seniority. So I usually choose these flights that go from here to DC and turn around and come back. So that's about 11 hours of work in a day. It's more than 11, but the flight part of it is about 11. And she likes these little 5-hour days, which are nice and easy, but it's like we flew to Cabo and back, and I felt great when we got back, but it's all that effort for 5 hours or okay. So anyway, there was a position on her crew that she said, please fly with me, because I haven't flown with her in a couple months, because it's not, I love her a lot, but it's not the most productive way to spend my work time, is flying these little baby turnarounds, right? But anyway, we laughed all day. We had fun. She baked some kind of what was it? Cinnamon cake, and we shared that with the crew, and we had a good time. But I told her, don't look for me for the rest of the month. And some holidays Delta pays us extra. Not, of course, if the whole rest of the country acknowledges Labor Day as a legal holiday, or federal holiday. I don't know if it's federal, not Delta. So anyway, but we did have a fun day. So it was fun. I got some rest over the weekend, did a little, had some fun and all of that. So thanks for asking. Did you celebrate the holiday barbecue or anything fun?
I wish. I went to, my daughter had a friend's birthday party. Mm-hmm. And at the beach. So we spent like a family day at the beach. And then turned around and went to Knoxbury Farm. I'm too old for that.
That's a lot of people. Yeah. That's a lot of peopling, right?
Well, we did. The beach was actually really nice.
I bet the beach was. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it was Bolsa Chica, so it was actually really nice. But the Knoxbury Farm, I normally go for like 2 or 3 hours, but we was at the beach from 12 to 5, mm-hmm. and then went to Knox from like 6 to 11. So I was tired.
Yeah, wiped out. Now, where's Bolsa Chica Beach? I've heard of it. I can't remember where.
It's in Orange County, kind of. Okay. I think near Huntington Beach.
Okay.
Redondo Beach. I don't know. It's really nice.
The beach is always nice. Did you get some? I don't know if you're meat. Mm-hmm.
It's one of those ones you have to pay for to get in.
Okay. To keep the regular people out, right?
Probably.
Yeah. Did you get some fried chicken out there at Knott's?
No. It's, you know what? Last time I had it, it wasn't as good as it was before, as I remembered it. As authentic. Yeah. I live right down the street, like walking distance from there.
Okay.
So I go often.
That's too bad. Because it used to be like, I'm an only child. We would go just for the chicken. Like we drive from home all the way over there. And it wasn't, we were in South Central then. So it wasn't a big drive. And back then it was not as crazy traffic as now, but we would go sometimes just for the chicken. And it's a shame if they changed the rest.
It's not bad.
Maybe the chef was just off. Maybe he was.
Maybe. It's not bad. I don't think they changed the recipe. It's like it was deep fried. You know how it's deep fried to the point where it's kind of hard and
exactly.
But you're right. It could have been just been the chef the last time I went. Hopefully.
Yeah, that was some good food. It's kind of, we have other good chicken in LA, but that was kind of the highlight of going there, that and getting a jar of jam or something, right?
That's still good. Yeah. The jam's still good. Well, if you ever come over here, like I said, I live walking distance. You don't even have to pay for parking.
Okay, I'll let you know. I have my Delta did every year before the virus came, they would do a summer employee fund something or another where they, give us free tickets, and it moved around. Like sometimes it was at a comedy nightclub with dinner. Or they pay for dinner, you buy your own drink. It has been the boat ride at Marina Del Rey. That's the nice one. But one year they did do Knott's, and we had a picnic there. Knott's is food, but in that picnicking area where the tables and chairs, and then we went into the park. And when it's time to go into the park, I could not do the crowd. So I gave my ticket to a man that was in line with his two boys. And I said, well, here's one ticket, so you don't have to buy all three. So he was really appreciative. So, and then I cut out, but anyway, so that's probably been, I don't even know, maybe 5 or 6 years ago. And I haven't been out there since, but I'll keep that in mind though, if I get a
what you probably would enjoy is like the
taste for their whatever they have. It's been a while, but
they have like a taste of Knott's where it's like they give you a food card. And they have all these different boysenberry flavored stuff, and you can go to these different stations. During the pandemic, when they were doing that, and I guess because they reduced capacity,
and that's inside the park or on the outside.
It's inside.
Oh, nice. That's I have to look for that. That would be, and I don't mind the places, but when there's too many people, I deal with too many people for a living. And so it's just not it's like I get annoyed and like, why am I here? Why did I choose to say yes to, and so I just don't go, but that I could handle because food is the theme instead of the rides. Right.
Right.
Yeah, okay. I'll let you know though. I'll look on the internet and see what's happening with that.
Yeah,
Thank you.
You're welcome. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and start the recording when you hear.
Okay, ready when you are. Thanks.
Okay.
Hello, Uma friends. My name is DeJur Jones. I am the principal of DeJur Jones Yoga Therapeutics, and I'd like to welcome you to class. We are here every Wednesday at 9 a.m. Hopefully, I'm looking for the day to come into live in-person classes. That has not been shared with me yet, but I'm looking for the day where I get to come in and meet people in person and have a nice yoga class live like old times. I'd like to just make some suggestions. If you have any injuries, please be thoughtful and mindful of your body. If I ask you to do a position or a movement and you know that that's going to hurt you, please don't do it, or maybe experiment and do it in an experimental way to see how far you can get into it where it doesn't cause any pain. We do want to move toward a little bit of discomfort because that means that we are moving parts of us or stretching muscles of ours that have not been moved in that way in a while. So discomfort is permissible, but pain is not. You should not have any pain doing any kind of movement program or exercise program. Pain should not be part of that. And please don't let anyone else tell you that that's okay, because it's not. That's the body's way of saying this is too much for me to deal with. Please stop. If you need a break, please take a break, whether it be water break or just a short rest break. or a bio break, feel free to do that for yourself. I say most times that you are your best yoga teacher. So you know what you need and what will serve you well in the most therapeutic way. We're going to start. I'm just sitting on the little stool here. We're not going to actually do chair yoga today, but we'll start with just some warm-ups. So you may sit on something that's close by just to start, and just, you can't really see my feet right now, but they are 10 toes going the same way, and they are comfortably separated for my body. My knees are over my ankles. Okay, so that's how I'm sitting. Obviously the stool does not have a back. So I am lifting my spine upward, stretching it up, and pulling in my belly button for support, and also to engage the abdominal muscles. So just by pulling the belly button in will turn on the abdominal muscles and give you extra support, especially when you're sitting on something that does not have a back to it. We will do our grounding process that we do every week, and you can use this process anywhere you show up. It doesn't have to be the whole process. It can be, you can cherry pick what you like the most. The grounding pretty much just gets us settled into the space that we're in right now, the head space and the physical space, leaving all our stuff outside. It'll be waiting for us when we get done. And so we first start with just putting your hands down, palms down on your knees or thighs, and noticing your feet touching the floor. I'll show you my hands. So my hands are just palms down like this. Noticing your feet touching the floor, making contact with the floor, wiggling your toes up and down a few times. My feet are making a lot of noise. These pops and stuff that we might hear in our joints as we move around there, nitrogen gas bubbles. So they sometimes get caught all over the body. You might have a hip pop, and that could be a couple things, but it could also be the heat, the hydrogen gas bubble releasing in your hip joint. And so lifting and lowering the toes, you may hear some noise coming from your feet. And then let's lift the heels and lower. Like this. I should have sat back more, but just lift and lower the heels. With your feet in front of you, but I'm just throwing this one out here so you can see, lifting and lowering, and noticing any sensation in the calf muscle as we do this, and the muscles on the top of the feet. We get a nice stretch, the shin, top of the feet. So we're doing both feet a few times, lifting the heels. You can lift them opposites if you want to do, like you're riding a bike. You can do that if you want, or at the same time, it doesn't matter. But noticing the sensations in the calf muscles and the shin. The shins are really thin sheaths of muscle in front of the leg. And then lower the heels, noticing the contact of the backs of your thighs, making contact with whatever you're sitting on. So wherever your hands are, notice the fabric. If you have on long pants or if you have on shorts, making contact with the skin on your knees. Or if you have on long pants, the fabric, the texture of the fabric, thin or thick, smooth or rough. What does it feel like? So the sense of touch here. Have a look around the room you're in as if it's your first time there. So we're looking for colors, looking at colors, textures, so glass and fabric, and I have wrought iron here, some flower pots, terracotta and ceramic, leaves on the plants or the tree, or the leaves on the plants. I have pillows on the sofa, they have different fabric. Looking at those, one of the pillows is beaded stuff on my wall, artwork on my wall. I got books all around me. One cat bed is over here and one is over there. So just having a look around the ceiling. I still have popcorn ceiling, believe it or not. But looking at the ceiling, looking down at the floor. And then coming back, listening for sounds inside your space. So I had to lock the cats in the back because they started going crazy right before we went live. So I put them in the back, but I can hear them back there bumping around. I have a water fountain thing that I can hear, and the refrigerator motor. I'll move my awareness now outside. So there are some vehicles passing on my street. It's not very windy, so my wind chimes are not chiming. Can barely see the leaves moving. So yeah, the air out there is pretty still. No birds right now. So see what you hear in your space outside. So sometimes there's the gardeners and their mowers and blowers. There's children's voices and laughter, adults talking. Sometimes the trash collector is rumbling by. So see what you hear outside your space. We will move now to our skin and the air. So notice the parts of you that are not covered in your clothing or your outfit. Notice the air touching those places. My ankles, feet and your ankles don't have on socks. You're just noticing the air where your skin ends and the air starts. If you can notice that. And then the air itself, is it still or is it moving? So I sometimes teach with a fan, but it's not warm. It's, fans are always great, but I don't feel like it's warm enough yet for me to turn that on. But if you feel air blowing across you, notice that. Cooler, warmer, neutral to your temperature. How does it feel? Air conditioning. Do you feel it coming from the vent on you? Window open. I have a window open here. Can feel a little bit of air. It's not a breeze, but I know that it's open. So that the air on your skin and the end of your skin and the beginning of the air. So notice that sense of feeling again, or I guess we call it touch, but not really touch, but just having an awareness. We move now to our sense of taste. And what do you taste in your mouth? My last thing was toothpaste. So that's what I taste. A little mint, not a lot. What do you taste? Did you have something to eat earlier? We move now to sense of smell. Do you smell anything? My diffuser is over there running. And so my place right, the front room here smells like lavender oil. Do you smell food? Do you smell flowers or plants? If the guy out or someone is cutting the grass, can you smell that? And then we'll move to our breath, and our focus on our breathing today, as usual for me, is through our nose. So we really want to fill the lungs with each inhale and then empty them completely with each exhale. So I want to talk about nasal breath and why we do it. And so this is one of the benefits of working with the yoga therapist, is that you may get a little more information on some of the things that we're doing, because that's how we were trained, versus a yoga teacher they can go on and study more. That's what I did, go on and study more and more. But the reason why we do nasal breathing, and there are mouth breaths in yoga, they are available to us, but they have different purposes, like to cool down the body if you're hot. There's a breath called lion's breath. There's another breath that shuts out all the senses called bee breath, which depending on the group that I'm teaching, I will or won't teach that. For some people to shut out their vision and their hearing, it's unsettling for them because of past traumas. And so I don't usually teach that one. There's a breath where you whistle in and out through your nose, unless you can curl your tongue in a circle. That's a very cooling breath. If you're really hot, you can use that breath to cool down the body's temperature. But for our purposes, and with UMA, we are working on how to keep our nervous system regulated. So these last few years have been extremely stressful. And then we layer on the pandemic, and it's the lingering thing now for, almost over a year and a half. We've been going through this, and annoyance with people that aren't complying with best practices, so that we can get this thing over with and back to our real, mostly way things used to be. That's an annoyance and a frustration. I deal with that every day when I'm at my other job, my flight attendant job, of people wanting to do a certain thing on the airplanes, like not wearing a mask in that close container, and having to emotionally deal with them. And so we can use our breath, and the loss of family and friends. And I was losing people every week, it seemed like, and it was very devastating, to me as a survivor of all this. But just, I got a text the other day. Did you know a person's name? Did you know? And I knew she was gone. And I was like, yes, I knew her, and she's gone. And so that's number 15 for me in my life. And this is a work friend. And so to manage all of that, we can use the breath. That will not take away the pain or the anger or the annoyance or the anxiety, but it will help us to react and respond to that. The exhale through the nose lowers the activity of the nervous system. So that there is the key to all of this long-winded talk I'm giving you. When you breathe in through the nose and have a slow extended exhale, it settles the nervous system. And this is not just anything I made up. It's in many of my books, and it's in a lot of my books regarding traumatized populations. For whatever reason, we have trauma. We have trauma just being born or giving birth. The baby is traumatized coming. The mom is traumatized delivering. So right there is, like, to me, the original trauma. And so we can help ourselves navigate through our daily movements by regulating the breath. I'm not saying breathe long, slow, deep breaths all throughout the day, but throughout the day, a couple of focused breaths just to reset your nervous system. So all they are slow, deep, long inhales, and then extended exhales. So do 5 cycles on your own. Our lung capacities differ person to person. So I want you to take your full measure of an inhale, and then when you're ready to exhale it all out, do 5 cycles of breath and plant your attention on that breathing process. When you get to number 5, just come back to your regular breath. Do a body scan and see how that focused breath, it may have changed the way things feel for you. I know that we are putting a lot of oxygen in our bloodstream via the heart. It can make you have a little more awareness around you, a little more clarity. And so, it's just the oxygen, but I feel a little more pumped up a little bit just from those 5 deep breaths that I took. So in times throughout your day where you start to feel droopy or sleepy or lethargic, you can also use that breath to re-energize you, make it a little bit faster, and it'll fill you up with oxygen. And then you'll be able to carry on and carry through until later on in bedtime and relaxation time later on. So that is our grounding practice. And I'm gonna move on to the mat and readjust my camera. So you can use those grounding practices, as I said, anywhere that you show up. And I do them in the grocery store line, whenever I'm waiting for something, sitting in traffic, you could do it. There's no wrong place to do it, and definitely will help you get through your day. And if you do it enough, it will become a practice. And what I mean by that is that it'll be what you do when you start to feel overwhelmed. Instead of reacting, you just go into that breath, and you might just react a different way because you're more composed, and you have more control of not just lashing out or whatever it may be. So we'll sit cross-legged, or you can sit with your legs extended. It's your choice. For once, remember to bring the blocks close. And I'll show you how to use those. So you don't have to have yoga blocks. I just, of course, have them because I teach. But if you had 2 towels rolled up, one under each thigh, it allows the thighs to just rest without you having to feel if they feel like they're too high and they're the distraction, you put the blocks underneath them, and then you don't really notice that the knees are up. Over time, sitting like this with our yoga, the muscles stretch out. When I started yoga, my knees were way up here. I could not get them down, and I felt like something was wrong with me. We're taught in yoga not to compare our bodies with the neighbor, the classmate neighbor. Her leg goes higher than mine. Something's wrong with me. My arm doesn't go back that far. Something's wrong with me. In yoga, we are taught not to compare ourselves to other people because it's the human body and it's different one to another. So over time, my knees came down. I know some yoga people, they can get the outside of their leg all the way down to the floor. That is not going to happen for me because it's the positioning of my hip joints and my leg bones. And so wherever they are is good. We're working with the bodies that we have today. So let's sit here, sit up tall. Let's just take some breaths here. And then we'll get into the movement part. I like sharing with you information so you know why we're doing what we're doing. I don't want you to just blindly follow me and do what I say do and not know the benefits. Some of these things, when you have times of like my low back hurts, my neck hurts, my shoulders hurt, instead of suffering through that or popping an aspirin, which I believe in aspirin when they're needed, but sometimes all you need is some motion and that will help you. So we're going to do some circling and either direction. These are called, my friend Jackie calls them stir the pots. They're called Sufi grinds or Sufi rolls or Sufi circles. Sufis are mystics. So apparently they did this to maybe wake up their bodies, and it was named how these got named. But I love stir the pot, so that's what I call them first. Stir the pot. When you come forward, let the breath out. Inhaling when you sit upright. So when you're upright, your lungs have availability to be filled up. And then we come back around, the lungs get compressed a little bit from leaning forward, we let the air out. And see how you feel on your low back. Mine is a little tight, and my right hip feels a little tight. And just, I'm asking you to notice and feel, not to make like, oh my God, there's something wrong with me, but just notice how your body is feeling and responding instead of daydreaming. So I might call out target areas. I might also just say, notice the circling of the right arm to keep you from daydreaming off, because it's easy in yoga to daydream away because of the meditative aspect of yoga. Let's reverse our circle. Inhaling when you sit up, exhaling when you go forward, moving and breathing. Moving and breathing. These can be done in a chair. We do them in the chair. I think we did them last week, a few of these. They can also be done in a car seat. So if you're at a red light, you can move around. If you're a passenger, you can move around. If you're on public transportation, You might not go down as far, but you can do them more vertical. Same thing, it's for the hips, even though the torso is doing all the moving. Place your right hand down straight out from the right shoulder. So we don't want the hand behind us or in front where we're leaning back. We want to use the right hand as a kickstand. Keep the left butt glued onto the floor. So we don't want to lift up because we lose our stretch there. Bring the left arm up and across. Left shoulder stays back. It's going to want to curve down because it's easier. But we want to keep it pulled back. And deep breaths here. So we're getting a nice side stretch. Left tush on the floor, on the mat. Left arm up and across by the left ear. Straighten the left elbow. Reach far. And then inhale, both arms up. We'll go to the left side. So left hand down. Lean over to the left. Right arm near right ear. Keep the right tush stuck to the mat. Right shoulder stays back. These are side body stretches. Seated side stretches are what they're called. And I'll throw this in cross leg, seated side bends. Inhale back to center, both arms up, sit up tall, stretch the spine up toward the sky. First side again, right hand goes down, right straight out from the right shoulder. Palm presses into the floor. Deep breaths. Left arm reaches. Circle the left arm. Big or small, doesn't matter. These are the small ones, they're more vertical. That might be suitable for your shoulder. The big ones look like this. Notice how things feel, especially when you bring the arm back behind you. Smooth, controlled breathing. Let's reverse the circle direction. So opposite direction. Check on your breath. And then inhale both arms up. Notice how it feels on the left side of the rib cage when we sit up straight. And change, left hand goes back down, right arm reaches across, right shoulders pull back a bit. Hold here, take some breaths. And you circle the right arm, big or small circle, or try them both. Right tush down on the floor. And let's reverse the circle. Waking up the shoulder joints for the day. And inhale, both arms up. Let's lower the arms. Put the other leg in front or on top. Bring the right hand over to the left knee for a seated spinal twist. Sit up really tall. And the left hand goes behind you like a kickstand. You can either be on your left fingertips or flat palm, your choice. You can also, there's another option, wrap the left hand over to near the right hip. There's another choice for you there. So let's move the head left and right, left shoulder, right shoulder with the head. Side to side. How does your neck feel? How does your neck sound? I'm getting crackles. So the right side feels tighter than the left. Just move your head side to side, twisting to the left, sitting up really tall, moving the breath. If you like, you can stop moving your head or continue. Twist a little more to the left and hold here. And also move, we were doing ear to right shoulder, right ear, left shoulder, left ear. You can also do chin toward the right shoulder, chin to the left shoulder. Try that too. So it's a different way of moving the head. So we're rotating the head side to side. And then when you're ready, lift up both arms. Notice how the left arm feels. Left hand touches right knee. You need to put the right hand behind your fingertips or flat palm, or wrap the right hand over toward the left hip. Twist and breathe. So this wrapping is a deeper stretch for the shoulder cap muscle. Those are the muscles on the front of the shoulder. And you'll feel the difference if you try it out. It doesn't have to come all the way to the opposite hip. You can actually leave it if it feels comfortable right at the low part of the back. So I did here the first side. And also leave it in the middle. If reaching back across is too much, if it's uncomfortable. You feel a little loosening of the shoulder blade, the muscles around the shoulder blades. By this wrapping, you can have the hand behind you, flat palm or fingertips, your choice. So sitting, twisting to the right. And moving the head, left ear, left shoulder, right ear, right shoulder, left ear, left shoulder, right ear, right shoulder, left ear, left shoulder, right ear, right shoulder. Then lift the head, chin toward the left shoulder, chin toward the right shoulder. We'll do 2 more sets. Chin toward the left, chin toward the right, and then 1 more, chin to the left, chin to the right. And position your head in a comfortable place. Twist a little more to the right. And then come back to center. And release the arms and the legs. And shake out and windshield wiper your feet. Shake out the arms. You can leave the legs out. Separate your legs comfortably for you, whatever that looks like. And toes pointing up. So when we flex our feet, the muscles in the legs are turned on. So it's a bonus. It's a passive way to tone the muscles in the legs by keeping the feet, toes up. So if I let go, my feet just kind of flop down. So this is controlling the muscles. So we're sitting up here tall. This pose, this shape is called staff pose. And staff, sort of like the walking stick. So I'll sit sideways. So it's just like an L shape with the body and the toes pointing up. Long spine, shoulders down. You can place your hands on the floor or on your thighs. This is called staff pose. So we'll sit in staff. Hello, Evelyn. Thank you for coming. And then walk hands forward on the outside. Imani, are you there?
I think she exited. I think she got checked out for some reason. She'll come back, I'm sure.
Okay, should I just wait?
Let's wait a minute, and if not, we can just continue, so you can just
Okay.
keep going.
Okay. All right, let's see. She might have left the area that her setup is at, you know, coming back on the hour.
But I think it's still recording. See, it says they're live up there on YouTube, so let's just continue.
Okay, I don't have the YouTube version up here. I just have the Zoom screen. Okay, so we'll keep going.
Let's just continue.
Okay, thank you. So we'll sit in staff pose. Legs are straight out in front of you. You can separate them to your comfort. Toes pointing up, and we're going to walk the hands forward on the outsides of the legs. And so come as far forward. I want you to attempt to keep your back flat instead of curving it down. So it may not, the straight back may not allow you to go down as far, but it's still a nice stretch, and it's supporting your spine. So the more forward you come, you may feel a little more intensity on the backs of the legs. So this stretch is actually for the total body, the total back body. But the leg part is from the top of the back of the thigh all the way down to the heel. Is getting a stretch. Look between your knees, so the neck is relaxed and back. And palms are just flat. You can also put, I guess, put your forearms on your shins if you want, or palms flat on the mat on either side of your leg, on the outsides of your legs. Feet again, one last time about the feet. Flex your feet. That helps with the stretch in the back of the legs, the backs of the legs. Looking down toward the mat. Just take some breaths here. Smooth and easy breath. And inhale, bring the arms up, palms face each other, sit up tall. Exhale down, hands back on the outsides of the legs. Come all the way forward as best you can. Inhale, lift, sit up tall. We'll do 5 all together, so this will be number 4. Exhale down. Inhale, lift. Sit up tall. Exhale down. That was 3. Here's number 2. Inhale, lift. Check your toes if they're pointing up toward the sky. Exhale, forward bend. And one more. Inhale, lift. Sit up straight. And then exhale back down. We're going to hold in the forward bend. So hands on outsides of the legs. Look down between the knees. Toes are pointing up. Just settle here for just a few breaths. Check out the breath. Controlled inhales and exhales. And then walk yourself upright. Hands walk back toward the top of your thighs. We'll separate the legs as wide as is comfortable. So we don't want them so wide that we have shooting pains on the insides of the thighs, but we do want to feel a little bit of feedback from the inner thigh muscles. So bring them as wide open as you can, but not to the point of pain, if that makes any sense. Again, my toes are pointing up, so flip your toes up onto the heels of the backs of the heels of your feet. Just walk forward. You can have palm flat, fingers spread wide. You can lift up on the fingertips. If you lift up on the fingertips, over time, your hands get strengthened from this shape. So like I mentioned before, we were in our twist, you can come back behind on the fingertips. This strengthens the muscles in the hands and fingers. If you have access to forearms down, you can try that. You may feel more intensity on the inside of the thighs with forearms down, and it is a deeper stretch for the low spine. Wherever you are, look down toward the floor so that the neck is relaxed and back, and just hold here. Toes are pointing up, knees are straight, legs are as straight as you can get them. Arms are straight, pressing into the mat with the hands, or the forearms are down, your choice. Inhale, lift both arms up, similar to what we did before. Exhale, come down with the hands. We'll do 5. So that was number 5. Inhale, lift. Fingertips up toward the sky. Reach up tall, sit up tall. Exhale down. Inhale, lift. And exhale, forward bend. I think this is number 2. Sit up really straight. Exhale down. And then here's number 1. Sit up tall and then let the arms swan dive down toward the floor. Bring your hands behind you, either grabbing wrists or grabbing elbows. And just hold here. Drop your shoulders down. Sit up straight. Lift your head so that the neck gets lengthened. And just hold here. Toes are up. See if you feel anything in the shoulder caps here. Both sides. Bringing the hands back or arms back gives those shoulders a nice stretch. These shoulder muscles get really short because we are typically, we're on our phones a lot. Our front body is curved down to look at the phone or the laptop or the tablet. And so these muscles in the front of us start to shorten over time. So this is one way to release that. Chin to chest here. And just notice the stretch on the tops of the shoulders by dropping the head forward. Circle the head slowly, doesn't matter which way, we'll go both ways. Slow and easy. This should not have any pain accompanying these head circles. You might hear noise. The noise is the hydrogen gas bubbles I mentioned earlier. They release with movement from time to time. Toes are pointing up, grabbing hold of the elbows. One hand to the opposite elbow behind us, reversing the circles. So my circling to the right is noisier. My clockwise circling is much noisier than the counterclockwise circling. And then let's release the arms. Notice how they feel when we let them go. Woo! Shake out arms, relax the legs, windshield wiper the feet. See how things feel. So we'll bring the legs straight out in front of us. Bend the right knee. I want you to grab your right leg and make it cradle it in the left arm. So you can either hold on to the left, use the left hand to hold on to the right foot, right hand, right knee, or you can try to put the right foot near the inside of the left arm, inside of the left elbow. Sitting up tall, and again, the left foot is flexed. So again, we're working those muscles without that being the focus of what we're doing. It's a passive toning by flexing our feet. So just hold here. So this is a hip opener. It's called Cradle Pose. You can also do this laying on your back if you're in bed. Drop your shoulders, take some breaths. Smooth breath. And then rocking the right leg side to side. This is for the hips, obviously. It's also a stretch for the inside of the bent leg, the thigh of the bent leg. It's a stretch as well. And then we're going to release that leg, right leg onto the floor. Compare right and left legs. There might be a change of sensation in the right leg that's noticeable. Then we'll move to the left leg. So we bring the left foot to the right hand, or the left foot to the inside of the right elbow. Left hand hangs onto left knee. We'll hold here, sit up tall. Right toes are pointing up. So on this side, I feel a stretch on the outside of the hip, the muscles on the outside of my left hip. If that's different from the other side. Sit up tall, check your shoulders and your jaw. So make sure jaw is loose and not clenched. And just separate the arches of the teeth, surfaces of the teeth, and then close your lips over that. Rock the left leg back and forth. See how that feels. Check your breath. And then when you're ready, let go of the left leg, extend it. Windshield wiper the feet, shake out the arms. Bring the soles of the feet to touch. This is butterfly pose. You can have the soles of the feet touch or the blades of the feet. The blade is in yoga the pinky side of the foot, pinky toe side of the foot. So you can have the blades touch like an open book, or you can press the soles together. And this would be a place, if I had towels rolled up, I put them on the outside of my legs or my knees for support. Butterfly pose or cobbler pose. Hip opener, cobbler as in shoemaker, not peach cobbler or my favorite. Well, I have two favorites now. Blackberry or strawberry cobbler, or even cherry. I guess I like them all. This is a passive way to stretch the muscles on the inside of the thighs. They stay tight if we don't stretch them, and most of us don't stretch them because we don't really think about them. So this is dancers and gymnasts, as part of their routines, stretch these inner thigh muscles all the time. We're going to lean forward on an exhale, hands flat or fingertips. We talked about fingertips strengthening the hands over time. Some of you may have access to forearms down. If you do, great. If you don't, that's great too. Looking down at the feet. So again, feet can press, soles can press together, or the blades of the feet can touch. Blades only can touch where the feet are open like a book. So walk hands toward the right. So we're doing a little side twist here. And then walk hands over to the left. So get a stretch on the right side of the rib cage. And then come back to center and hold. And then inhale, walk yourself upright. Push the knees together. Extend the legs and windshield wiper again. So we'll cross the legs again. Bring your right hand to touch your left ear. Get a little stretch in the neck. So we're working the neck and the shoulder joints and the hip joints, stretching the back body. Release that. Change sides. Left hand touches right ear. Drop your head over to the left. See if you feel a nice stretch on the right side of your neck. And then release that. And we'll come back, do a couple of twists on our back, and then that hour went fast. We'll move into final rest. So come onto your back, feet flat on the floor, knees are bent. Let's windshield wiper the knees here just a couple times and see how that feels to your low spine. Oh, I just cracked my back a little bit in a good way. And then extend the right leg out onto the floor. Bring the left knee to the chest. And then we're going to exhale the left knee over to the right side. Try to keep the left shoulder down. If that means the twisting to the right is not as deep, then come up a little bit with the twist, but keep that left shoulder down. If the left shoulder comes up, it's no longer a twist. Okay, so twisting to the right, with the left leg as far as you can go, but keeping the left shoulder on the floor. And just hold here.
See if you feel anything in the left buttock. There's a stretch that may happen for you there. Look around for that. And hold here and breathe. And then come back to center, switch out the leg. So now the left leg is extended on the floor. Right knee comes up to the chest, right knee twists to the left. Try to keep the right shoulder down. So twist only as far as you can, keeping the right shoulder down. Breathe here. And then come back to center, both knees to chest. Rock side to side. You can hang on one hand with the corresponding knee. Rocking side to side. Getting a little massage in the low back. And then we'll come to stillness. So you have some options. If your low back is tight, you can leave the feet on the floor, knees bent, feet separated, and knees touching. If you are comfortable to lay out flat in traditional corpse pose, you have that option. So the legs are apart, feet flop open, arms are away from your torso, palms facing up. Or you can do side corpse pose, which you bend the knees to chest and turn over to your favorite side, doesn't matter which side. Use the bottom arm as a pillow, curl up in a ball, and you can do Shavasana in a side corpse pose. So your choice to choose which way you want to be for this rest period. So we can start with a body scan, noticing the parts of us that are touching something else, whether it be the floor, the mat, placement of your hands, feeling the air on our skin, controlling the breath. Checking your jaw, facial muscles, noticing your feet and hands. Turn your head from side to side. Wiggle your toes and fingers. Next breath in, big stretch, arms overhead, reach, hands one way and toes the other. Stretch, stretch, stretch.
And then exhale, knees to chest, turn onto one side and come up to seated. So thank you for coming to class and drink a lot of water today, more than normal. I'm really happy to be here and I look forward to seeing you next week. Take care.
Thank you.